Hi ho! Movie reviews, movie reviews, movie and reviews, movie and TV reviews with Chrissy and Tammy. Chrissy and Tammy. Movie reviews, and scripted TV shows. Yeah. Hi, we're back finally with an actual movie review. The first one we did was the scripted TV show, but we have not done any since. Actually, that's a lie because we have tried to record this one several times and something's always wrong. So let's give it another go. This movie is a classic that we have not seen. I have never seen this movie until my nephew Gabriel came along, and he has just turned 3 and he is very obsessed with dinosaurs. So he was like, well, I was putting on Netflix and I was like, hey, what movie do you want to watch? And then he was like, blah, 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 dinosaur! And I was like, no! Are you seriously gonna watch this? These are like people. These are people. And then he was like, dinosaur. Dinosaur! The T-Rex! And I was like, no! There's like, okay, whatever. I was just gonna put it on, and I thought that he was just gonna immediately be like, no, it's not for me, not for me. But he stayed and just kept watching it, and he was so intrigued by it, and I was like, ugh, how did I end up watching Jurassic Park? That's how. I don't want to go through all of the movie. I'll just like hit the highlights of the movie because everybody has already seen this. It's like a classic, so you know, you guys already know the rundown of everything, but I will go like, you know, kind of in order maybe. One thing I was very surprised about in the beginning was that Laura Dern is in this movie. I was like, Laura Dern's in this? Like, I knew Jeff Goldblum was in it, but I didn't know, you know, what he was doing in the movie. But, you know, Laura Dern shows up and she's like a paleontologist veterinarian. Is that a thing? Is that like a real thing? Anyway, she's like, you know, in love with this other guy, Alan, who's also a paleontologist, and they're excavating? Is that the word? Excavating. They're digging for bones. That's what they're doing. And, you know, they're having their whole, like, you know, I don't know if they were married or not. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't paying attention. They were in a very committed relationship. And she was saying how much she wanted kids. And so, of course, there were kids that appear later, Tim and Lex, who were the grandchildren of the billionaire guy, John, who, like, comes up. It was funny. I did think that this was funny when he comes to visit them in their, like, trailer. And he's like, hey, I've got a big project for you guys. And they're like, who the hell are you? And you're like, don't worry about it. So, I need your help with this thing. And then they're like, why would we help you with this thing? And he's like, I'll pay you money. They were like, oh, okay. We do need funding. So, there you go. Then Jeff Goldblum's character comes in, and I knew Jeff Goldblum was in it, but I didn't know, like, the extent of, like, his role and everything in there. And I did not realize that he was, like, the suave, like the douchebaggy character who's very cynical and, like, a know-it-all type. He also had another job title. Well, obviously he had a job title, but he was like a chaos theorist or something. I mean, I'm sure it's a thing, but I didn't realize that it was a thing. Like, who is the child that you ask them what they want to be when they grow up and they're like, a chaos theorist, and then you're just like, oh, great job. That's like steady income or whatever, you know, blah, blah, blah. Okay. This is going swimmingly. So then that other guy, Dennis, I don't know his real name, the actor. He's like the frumpy dumpy, like unhappy, greedy guy. He's so greedy though. He just wants recognition and money and power, but mostly money, I think. So he's like the antagonist and he's, you know, creating all this stuff. But it's very funny. I'll skip to his death because I thought that it was hilarious that he would go out into the park. So he's like saying, you know, I created all this park and I should get more credit for it and you should have paid me twice as much as you did, blah, blah. He like sheds the power off or like messes up the system, whatever. And then he shuts off the power to the T-Rex exhibit. That's what it was, or the area, whatever. And then he goes off in the Jeep. And it's nighttime. It's raining. And he doesn't know where the hell he's going. And he designed the park. We're supposed to believe that he designed the park and he doesn't know where he's going. It was on the island though, I thought. I mean, I thought it was on the island because they had to take a helicopter to get there. And so I was like, what are you doing? What are you going to do with the Jeep? Like, why don't you have a helicopter? Like, what are you doing? And so I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know where he was going. And I didn't understand, like, why he wouldn't have known where he was going or what he was doing. Like, he was just so dumb. He was just so dumb. I don't get it. Obviously, I think all of them were dumb for going to, you know, a dinosaur park to get, like, eaten. He is going off into the dark, doesn't know where he's going, and then he's rushing, it's raining, he runs into a fallen branch or something, and so he gets out of the car, and I'm like, why are you getting out of the car? Just like wait in the car. Like, you've already made poor decisions by doing this at a very terrible time, which is nighttime, which is raining. Like, did you check the weather forecast? No, he did not. He is like getting out of the car and there is like a tiny dinosaur there. And I don't remember the name of that dinosaur. That one is the one that spews like the venom in your face or like some type of saliva or something that's like acidy stuff in your face. So, and like, you know, it kind of like peacocks out. I don't know what it's whatever this is. It was like, or he just wasn't bothered by it for some reason, because I guess maybe it was like a smaller dinosaur and it didn't look super threatening to him, which again, I'm kind of like, what is your, like, it's a freaking dinosaur. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand why he wasn't afraid or why he wasn't like, oh, this is serious. I should like get away from this thing before it eats me or something. And then like if you design the park, then shouldn't you know all the embryos and like dinosaurs that you had, because like that was what you were bragging about before, and then you were just like, I can get all these embryos for you so you can like pay me a bunch of money for these embryos. And I'm just like, but do you even know what these embryos are? Like, which ones? Like, what are you doing, man? Okay. But he never answered me about that either. So this dinosaur is there, and you know, maybe it was just like, maybe it was a little shorter than me. Maybe it was just like a 5'4" dinosaur. Whatever. It's a freaking big dinosaur. It's like, you know, whatever. It's a freaking dinosaur. I just want to clarify that if I was seeing this dinosaur, then I would be like, it's a freaking dinosaur. I'm afraid. And I'm gonna try to get away from it. But no, that's not what his instincts told him. His, like, what his heart told him, what his head told him, like, neither one of them were, like, telling him the correct thing. And it was just kind of like, I can just move this tree branch and get away in my car and everything will be fine while this dinosaur is here watching me. Okay. Oh, and then also, even though this dinosaur is like so small and tiny, like it has really sharp teeth and sharp claws. I know that dinosaurs, like the carnivorous ones, usually have really sharp teeth, and this one did. Like the herbivores, like had like the flat teeth, and that one did not have flat teeth. And so I'm just kind of like, what are you doing? I just kind of feel like that was common sense, you know? But I guess not. But anyway, he shoos it away. He tries to shoo it away. Like it's like a fly or something. So he's like, get out of here. Shoo, shoo, shoo. What? So then I guess he moves the branch out of the way and tries to restart the car. But of course, when he gets in the car, the dinosaur followed him in the car. And then, he was, surprised. But the dinosaur just like spit the venom in his face, or that venom acid, whatever, and killed him. I mean, we didn't see it, but we like heard him, and then we hear like the Jeep shaking and stuff. That was very preventable. It was just a very preventable death. Like, I mean, I know that it was like essential for the plot to move along that he would do such a thing, but when you're that dumb, like, okay, so then I think I'm just gonna do all the deaths because they're funny. Later on, another funny moment is there's this like head of security guy who's like a ex-military person, whatever, because the power is out, and so they have to like go and restart the power, which is like within the park, in like the dangerous part of the park, with the velociraptors, because they have gotten loose. And that was like a callback to an earlier scene I think like the very beginning of the movie, this one like kid was like, oh no, velociraptors, dinosaurs are so lame, blah, blah, blah. And then Alan was like, you know what, it could rip you to shreds, blah, blah, blah. So it was like a callback to that, because he was like, just when you think that you're safe, even though there's only one in front of you and you think that you can get away, then there's another one right behind you, and that one like kills you. Because they hunt in packs. The military guy escorts Laura Dern off to help her get the power back on. She's doing this, and also Alan is helping the kids go through the park, and they have to go over this the fence, the electrified fence, which is off right now, but because the power is off, but she's getting ready to turn the power back on. So the little boy, he climbed up the fence, Tim, and then all of a sudden he was afraid to climb down the fence. For some reason, I would think like it's scarier when you're like going up instead of just climbing down. You didn't have to, he didn't even have to jump down. He's just climbing back down.
Bruh.
He climbed down the fence, or he was having a hard time climbing down the fence simultaneously while Laura Dern is trying to do this. So while Laura Dern is over here, this guy who's supposed to be like protecting her, the military guy, and he is, outside, and then I guess he hears something, and so he's going to like investigate to kill whatever velociraptor that has gotten out. But of course, as like the callback said, they hunt in packs. So he had the gun aimed at one of them that he had the shot for. But then there was another one right behind him, like right next to him. And then just like tore him to pieces. But like before that, he like looked at her or looked at it. I don't know. Because I think he kept calling them girls, so that's why. But he looked at it and then he was like, you got me. And I was like, what is this? He said something crazy. He was like, kind of like the thrill of the hunt. You know, I wish I would have got you first, but you got me first. And it was very strange because that was his last words. And, and he was like, you got me. I don't know. It was very strange. Laura Dern ended up being able to turn back on the power. And of course, little Timmy boy got shocked and he almost died and Alan had to resuscitate him. And I was just like, you know, it wasn't that hard to climb back down. I mean, he climbed up there, you can climb back down. He ended up being fine, whatever. And then Laura Dern, like, nearly made it back, but she made it back. She, I guess, ended up outrunning the Velociraptor, but I think only because they were busy eating that guy. So there were 2 deaths. There was one in the beginning, too, that I washed over. I think it was a black guy, too. I think the first guy who died was a black guy, and he was helping them, like, unload the Velociraptors, I think. The military guy was there and he was like, be careful, like instructing them. And I guess the guy, when they opened the cage, I guess he got too close or something. And then he ended up, you know, getting grabbed by it and murdered and or eaten alive. The guy was yelling, get him, get him, get him! And, you know, they didn't do it in time. Oh, yeah. And, of course, I want to mention that Samuel Jackson is in this. I didn't know that Samuel Jackson was in this. So he was hilarious. I really liked. He was just, like, smoking, and he was just like, yeah, it's like, it's a lot of work. Well, after Dennis, like, ruined the system, and then he had to, like, redo everything or, like, recode it. And, you know, it was, like, a 90s, you know, computer. He was like, I guess I could, like, recode all this, but, you know, it's gonna take me a while. And then John was like, how long is it gonna take you? And he was like, well, yeah, it's, like, a million codes in here, so I have to go by like line by line, so I don't know, maybe like a week or 2 or something. You know? He was hilarious. and he was so frustrated, the guy John. He was like, we don't have that much time. My grandchildren are in danger. And then I'm just like, well, why did you have your grandchildren at a park for dinosaurs? That's your fault. What are you doing with your life? With your money? Like, don't do this. Oh, Samuel Jackson. He was so hilarious. Okay, yeah, so those were like the main highlights that I really enjoyed. There was also Laura Dern stopping and like doing her veterinary care for a Triceratops. Yeah, and then like Jeff Goldblum coming over to like a pile of dinosaurs. But then he was just like, that's a whole lot of shit. Oh yeah, and then every time they referenced like dinosaurs can't open doors, and then like the Velociraptors were like, oh yeah? And then like unlocking the doors. Oh, and then like one more when they were doing when they first like got to the park, and then like they went into and did like they saw the movie of how everything happened. It was really weird. And it's like Very cheesy. And then of course like Jeff Goldblum was like, or they were saying that all the dinosaurs were supposed to be one sex, so there wouldn't be any like mating or whatever. But then they used the DNA from the frogs, and so then the dinosaurs ended up changing sex and being able to lay eggs, and yada yada. And so the population got out of control. And Jeff Goldblum, being the chaos theorist, whatever, and he was like, chaos always finds a way. And, you know, it just makes me think of Game of Thrones, Littlefinger. Chaos is a ladder. I'm climbing it before I get my... Oh, wait. That's a whole other thing. Okay, so we've come to the end. It's time for the rating. Da 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 da! We're happy! We did enjoy Jurassic Park, which is very surprising because I did not think that I would. It was just very funny, and I think it was just because it was like an older movie and Samuel Jackson was in it. That's probably why. That's probably why it was so amazing. We did have our doubts. I had my doubts. I definitely had my doubts, but it worked out in the end. So, I guess thanks, Gabriel, I guess, for making me sit through Jurassic Park. So, like, none of the deaths were super, like, graphic or anything. I mean, it was an older movie as well, so, I think the most graphic one was, I forgot, the lawyer guy ran off and left the kids, and then he got eaten. I think he got like eaten in half by the T-Rex. So there you go. That's what happens when you leave your kids. So don't leave your kids, because you'll get eaten in half by a Tyrannosaurus Rex. That's what I learned. That was the main takeaway from the movie. Don't leave your kids. So don't do it. Let us know in the comments below what your favorite part of the movie is, or what your favorite Samuel Jackson line is, because basically, you know. You know. Thank you for watching to the end, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Again, please like, share, and subscribe if your heart moves you so. And we will see you later. Bye!